homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm.
Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, this is going to be our last planting video for a little while. We haven't done a planting video, or we won't be doing a planting video because we'll have everything planted except our 6-week beans. Now, as the year goes by, like when I harvest my onions, which is coming up pretty soon, the onion sets, not the big onions, but the onion sets. When I harvest my onions, it'll be time to plant 6-week beans, but it's not time to harvest the onions yet, so that's not where we're going. Today, we're going to plant okra and sunflowers. Now, the last couple of years I haven't saved sunflower seeds, so my sunflower seeds are from 2020. So, and this is all I've got left. I plant Russian Mammoth sunflowers. I need to save seed this year. Last year I didn't, I let the birds have them. So, and then last year I did save okra seed. So we've got okra to plant. So we're going to get in the garden and do that. Let me show you where we're going to plant it this year. Now our garden is kind of truncated, if you remember. We're only planting about probably half the garden that we normally plant, because I've got some other projects that need to get going. During the planting time, there isn't much time to get other projects going except on rainy days. But we're about done with the planting portion, and then there'll be some harvesting videos and some replanting videos, and then planting the fall garden and those kind of things. But I'll have time to get started back on the projects, the greenhouse and the tractor shed that I haven't been able to get to yet. So let's show you where we're going to plant our okra and our sunflowers. Okay, right here is a set of 4 poblano peppers, and then over here is our peppers. I worked those out yesterday, so they're cleaned out. I've still got to harvest these onions over here. See all the weeds? I let the weeds go because the onions are done. They're starting to head up, so in the next couple of days I'll harvest all of those onion sets. Not the slips now, but the sets, because they're done. They're going to seed. So right here where these 4 poblano peppers are, I'm going to go right down that row and I'm going to plant sunflowers. And then over here on the right hand side, over here about 8 feet away, I'm going to plant a row of okra. Now, one of the things here, if you'll look right there, there's a great big old tree, but that's on the north side of the garden. So it provides some shade in the mornings, but these sunflowers and the okra will get full sun the rest of the day. So there's no problem with planting them here. So let's get down in the garden and plant them. I'm going to show you how I'm going to plant them. Now, I could go down through the garden planting these okra and sunflowers by hand. I have done that in the past. Used to, I didn't save enough okra seed to work in the earthway planter, because my earthway planter, you've got to have a considerable amount of seed. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that, hey, you can save as many of those seeds as you want to. They're free. Okay? So, okra seeds are free. Now, so, my earthway planter has a specific plate for okra. It plants okra, beets, and Swiss chard. So I'm going to use this plate to plant the okra. Then the sunflowers, they don't have a specific plate, but sunflowers are a great big plant. I mean, they're huge. So these mammoth, Russian mammoths will grow 12 foot tall. All right, they're absolutely huge, and they'll get that big around. They'll have a 2-inch diameter stalk, or 3. So they're just absolutely huge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the lima bean plate so that they'll be planted a foot apart, but there's a little difference here. See how big these holes are? Okay, used to plant lima beans with them. I don't grow the big Ford Hook lima beans anymore. I just don't, because Crystal and I don't eat them as much. We do eat some little green lima beans, but I hate shell them, so we just buy them. So, you know, it's just one of them things. But this will plant 4 or 5, maybe 3 to 5 sunflower seeds every time it drops sunflower seeds. So every foot down through there, there'll be between 3 and 5 sunflower seeds dropped using this plate. Well, that's okay. Sunflowers will self-thin. A sunflower exudes a substance that kind of keeps other stuff from growing around it. I don't know why they do that, but they do. And generally when my sunflowers come up, I don't have to thin them. I've used that plate for years, and I don't have to thin them at all because they kind of self-thin. One will shade out another one, and it takes care of itself. So I'll go down through here and plant these, and I'm going to take the plate with me. I'll take the okra plate with me. I'm going to plant the sunflowers first, and I'm going to take the okra plate with me. I'll just stick it in my pocket, if it'll fit in my pocket. Yeah, it'll fit in my pocket. And down at the end of the garden, I'll go down planting the sunflowers. This is the hill garden. I'll go down planting the sunflowers and back up planting the okra. So let's get this plate on. Now here's the thing. The plate just goes in, and it goes so that these grooves right here, they line up in the planter. Come on, get in there. There we go. And you just turn it backwards, and they all line up. Now I'll take these sunflowers. Now these sunflowers are from 2020, so some of them are not going to come up. They're 3 years old. Sunflowers are generally good for about 5 years, but they're 3 years old, so some of these are not going to come up, and some of them are broken. Okay, the way I harvest these seeds, some of them get broken, but you just take the whole bag and put them right in the planter. Now there's some little chaff and stuff in there the way I harvest these sunflower seeds, because I just harvest them. I take a mesh screen and just rake them over the mesh screen, and that they fall in there, and sometimes there's some chaff and stuff. Some of the sunflower head goes off with them. I try and filter that out, but not always successful. And I just put the package so I can keep any extra sunflowers. And then I'll take the okra, put it in my pocket, and let's go plant some sunflowers and okra. Okay. Probably about a 75-foot row of sunflowers and about an 80-foot row of okra. There's a place down there where I turn my truck as I drive around through the garden. It's just so much easier to drive your truck down there. So I left that and didn't plant okra in it. Now the reason I planted the okra by the grass, sometimes I'll just drive the go-kart if my Easy Go, if I get the thing going this year. It ain't run in 2 years, so, and I haven't fooled with it. I don't know exactly what's wrong, but I've got a feeling I'm going to have to overhaul the engine. Now, I've never done that before, so that's going to be a thing. So I don't know if I'll show it on video or not, because like I said, I've never done it before. But I like to drive it on the grass down by, so this okra will be right there where you can just sit in the golf cart and harvest it. Now, if you like this stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homestead stuff all the time, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos, just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. Now, when you come to the channel, if you'll hit this little bell up here, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload every Sunday. Now, with that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing.